Alex, a meticulous freelance graphic designer, experiences a terrifying digital intrusion late at night. What begins as a quiet evening reviewing design files quickly spirals into a claustrophobic panic when unfamiliar social media notifications and aggressive red warning lights flood the monitor. The digital perimeter is compromised, revealing an active, unauthorized presence systematically testing security questions. As the glowing screen reflects the stolen identity, Alex realizes this is not a mere glitch, but a complete takeover. The silent home office transforms into a battlefield of flashing alerts, setting the stage for a grueling battle to reclaim a hijacked digital life before everything vanishes forever. The home office was submerged in deep shadows, illuminated only by the harsh, cold glow of the monitor. Alex sat alone, meticulously adjusting vector paths for a late-night freelance graphic design project. Dazzling data streams of code and color scrolled across the screen, reflecting in tired eyes. The quiet isolation of the room felt absolute, a sanctuary of digital creation far away from the chaotic outside world. The soft hum of the computer tower provided a steady rhythm to the otherwise silent night, a comforting backdrop for hours of focused creative work. Suddenly, the serene atmosphere shattered without warning. A relentless cascade of social media notifications flooded the dashboard. Unfamiliar contacts and strange messages popped up in rapid succession, each ping echoing sharply in the quiet room. Then, the aggressive red warning lights began to flash across the security perimeter of the main account. The bright crimson pulses illuminated the dark room, casting long, eerie shadows against the wall, turning the familiar workspace into an alien landscape of digital alarm. Alex froze, fingers hovering motionless over the keyboard. The initial reaction was pure dismissal. It had to be a system glitch, a minor digital anomaly caused by fatigue or a buggy software update. But the persistent, rhythmic flashing of the alerts demanded immediate attention. The red warning lights pulsed again, signaling multiple failed password attempts and unrecognized device logins from distant, unknown locations. The sheer volume of the alerts suggested an automated script running in the background, systematically battering the digital walls. "This is not a glitch," Alex whispered, the voice trembling slightly in the empty room. The creeping unease rapidly morphed into sudden panic. The digital boundaries were being crossed in real time, and the usual safeguards were failing one by one. Leaning closer to the monitor, Alex analyzed the login locations. The coordinates pointed to a foreign server farm, thousands of miles away from the quiet suburban neighborhood. "These are not the expected login locations," Alex muttered, wiping sweaty palms on denim jeans. The inner thoughts raced frantically. Who is logging in from that location? What are they accessing? The map on the screen showed a sprawling network of nodes, all converging on the single, vulnerable profile. The notifications confirmed an active, unauthorized presence. Someone was systematically testing the security questions on the main profile, probing the defenses with terrifying precision. The quiet isolation was completely gone, replaced by the suffocating realization that the digital perimeter was compromised. The thief was already inside, knocking on the doors of the most private financial and personal vaults. Alex grabbed the smartphone to check the banking application, heart pounding against the ribs, as the red warning lights continued their relentless, mocking flash across the screen. The breach had just begun, and the true scale of the theft remained hidden in the shadows of the network. Every second felt like an eternity, the glowing screen a constant reminder of the invisible threat lurking just beyond the firewall. Alex's thumbs slipped on the glass screen, smearing sweat across the banking application. The loading circle spun, a mocking delay in the suffocating silence of the office. When the dashboard finally rendered, the harsh, unforgiving glow of financial ruin illuminated Alex's pale face. A list of unfamiliar credit card statements scrolled past in a dizzying blur. Luxury electronics, international wire transfers, and a massive withdrawal of 15,000 USD from the primary savings account. The numbers on the screen seemed to multiply, each transaction a fresh blow to the carefully built financial foundation. "Authentication failed. Please contact the branch." A sterile, automated voice chimed from the phone speaker, the second voice in the room, breaking the dead silence. The robotic tone felt like a cruel mockery of the desperate situation unfolding in the dark office. Alex dropped the device onto the desk, breathing heavily. The red warning lights from the monitor continued their relentless pulse, casting long, eerie shadows across the scattered design sketches. "They didn't just log in," Alex whispered, staring at the drained balance. "They are me now." The realization was a physical weight,
pressing down on the chest and making it hard to draw a full breath. Frantic fingers grabbed the mouse, clicking back to the social media dashboard. The profile was unrecognizable. The profile picture had been swapped for a generic avatar, and the recovery email was changed to an untraceable string of characters. Worse, the outbox showed dozens of personal messages sent to friends and family, weaving a web of lies and borrowing requests. The digital perimeter wasn't just breached, it was entirely occupied. The thief was using the established trust of years to manipulate the people closest to Alex, turning personal relationships into leverage for further exploitation. "This isn't a glitch. This is a takeover," Alex said, voice cracking under the weight of the stolen identity. The security lock symbol on the screen flashed green, indicating the thief had successfully bypassed the final verification prompt. The green light, usually a symbol of safety, now felt like a beacon of defeat. Claustrophobic panic tightened Alex's chest. The thief was actively living as them, leveraging years of curated digital trust to drain every remaining asset. The initial shock dissolved into a suffocating certainty. This was a total hijacking, executed with a cold, calculated efficiency that left no room for error. A cold sweat broke out across Alex's forehead. There was no time to process the devastation. Survival meant moving faster than the phantom. Alex grabbed a pen and a notepad, hands trembling violently, and dialed the official fraud number printed on the back of the physical debit card. The line rang, a hollow sound in the dark room, as the clock ticked toward morning. The race to reclaim a stolen life had officially begun, but the thief already held all the keys.
The fluorescent lights of the local bank branch hummed with a sterile, unforgiving glare, casting sharp shadows across the polished mahogany desk. It was mid-morning of the third day, and the physical world felt just as hostile as the compromised digital one. Alex sat rigidly in the uncomfortable guest chair, sliding the official police report across the smooth surface. The bank fraud specialist, a calm professional with his strictly procedural demeanor, adjusted her glasses and began typing passwords on her secure terminal. The rhythmic mechanical clacking of the keyboard echoed in the quiet, climate-controlled space, a stark contrast to the silent, invisible war raging online. Every document in the folder felt like a fragile shield against an enemy that could rewrite reality with a few keystrokes. The air in the branch felt thin, suffocating Alex with the sheer weight of institutional indifference. The ticking of the wall clock sounded like a countdown to total ruin. Suddenly, the terminal screen flashed. A harsh red security lock symbol appeared, violently rejecting the identification. "The system does not recognize your current address," the specialist stated, her voice flat and entirely devoid of sympathy. She turned the monitor slightly so Alex could see. The screen displayed a mailing address in a distant state Alex had never even visited. Alex's stomach dropped into a bottomless void. "They changed the physical address on file?" "It appears so," the specialist replied, tapping the glass screen. "Your current physical identification is rejected by the system because it no longer matches the primary profile on record." Panic flared in Alex's chest, but the meticulous designer forced it down, shifting into a resolute, cautious stance. "How do I prove I am me when the system believes the thief?" The specialist sighed, a brief crack in her bureaucratic armor. "A total account freeze is the only immediate option to stop further unauthorized transfers. However, it will halt all incoming and outgoing transactions, including your freelance income." Alex stared at the glowing red lock symbol, the sterile tension of the room pressing down like a physical weight. The bureaucratic maze was infinitely deeper and more cruel than expected. A total freeze meant immediate financial ruin, missing critical client payments, and potentially losing the business entirely. But leaving the accounts open meant the digital phantom could drain whatever remained. The choice was a trap. Alex realized the battle was no longer just about resetting passwords. It was about proving existence to an unfeeling machine that had already decided otherwise. The thief had not just stolen money, they had stolen the very proof of identity, turning the physical world into an extension of the digital nightmare.
The sterile hum of the fluorescent lights seemed to amplify in the suffocating silence of the bank branch. Alex stared at the thick stack of authorization forms sliding across the polished mahogany desk. The physical weight of the paper felt like a surrender, yet the meticulous designer knew it was the only tactical retreat available. The bank fraud specialist waited patiently, her pen hovering over the clipboard, her expression a mask of practiced neutrality. Alex picked up the pen, hands trembling slightly, before forcing them to steady. The frustration of the past 3 days crystallized into a cold, grim determination. "Freeze everything," Alex said, voice steadying as the pen scratched against the signature line. I will prove who I am later." The specialist nodded, her procedural demeanor unbroken, and typed the final command into her secure terminal. "I am locking myself out to keep them out," Alex added, the realization settling in. It was a bitter pill, but necessary. The physical act of signing away access felt like amputating a limb to stop an infection, a drastic measure for a wound that was entirely invisible. On the glowing monitor, the chaotic red warning lights that had haunted Alex's digital life suddenly vanished. In their place, a solid, unblinking security lock symbol appeared in stark green. The accounts were sealed. The digital phantom was completely blocked from accessing the remaining funds, but the cost was absolute. Every freelance payment, every pending client transfer, was now trapped behind an impenetrable bureaucratic wall. The silence in the room shifted from hostile to hollow, echoing the sudden emptiness of the frozen accounts. Without wasting a second, Alex pulled out the smartphone. The screen illuminated a new contact number saved earlier that morning, a lifeline thrown into the digital abyss. Alex dialed the cyber police officer, the ringtone echoing sharply in the quiet branch, each ring stretching the tension a little further. Cybercrimes Division, an authoritative, empathetic voice answered. "I need to initiate a formal digital identity recovery," Alex stated, shifting from a helpless victim to a methodical fighter. "I have the police report number from the local precinct, and my bank accounts are now fully frozen." "Understood. We will need to verify your physical presence and begin the manual override process," the officer replied, the sound of a keyboard clacking in the background. "This will take time, and they might try to bypass the freeze through secondary channels." Alex gripped the phone tighter, staring at the solid green lock symbol on the specialist's screen. The thief was blocked today, but the digital battlefield was vast, and the phantom was already looking for a new door. The real verification war had just begun, and the first move belonged to the machine.
The late afternoon sun cast long golden shadows across the home office, replacing the harsh, cold glow of the monitor with a warm, quiet relief. Alex sat in the desk chair, the silence of the room no longer suffocating, but peaceful. The trusted smartphone rested on the desk, its screen dark. For hours, the meticulous designer had waited, the tension of the past 5 days hanging in the air like a held breath. The sterile, bureaucratic tension of the bank branch felt like a distant memory now. Suddenly, the phone vibrated, breaking the stillness. The caller ID displayed the official Cybercrimes Division number. Alex picked it up, fingers gripping the device tightly, knuckles turning white. "Alex, this is Officer Miller from the Cybercrimes Division," the authoritative yet empathetic voice echoed through the speaker. "I am calling to confirm that the formal digital identity recovery is complete. We have successfully overridden the fraudulent changes. The physical mailing address and primary credentials are fully restored to control." "Understood. I have been waiting for this call." "The accounts are now unfrozen and secure," the officer added, the sound of a final keystroke clicking in the background. "Full sovereignty is restored. The phantom is locked out." Hanging up, Alex immediately opened the banking application on the personal phone. The loading circle spun for a brief second before the dashboard rendered. The chaotic red warning lights and the sterile, frozen state were entirely gone. In their place, a solid, unblinking green security lock symbol appeared on the screen, confirming full access and absolute security. The digital perimeter was no longer breached. It was fortified. "It is finally mine again," Alex whispered to the empty room, staring at the green lock symbol. The transition from a helpless victim to a methodical fighter had culminated in this single, profound moment of physical relief. The system finally knows who I am. Navigating back to the main social media dashboard, Alex verified the final details. The generic avatar was gone, replaced by the original profile picture. The recovery email was reset, and the outbox was cleared of the deceptive messages sent to friends and family. The digital footprint was entirely scrubbed of the phantom's interference. Every single node of the network was back under legitimate ownership. With a deep, steadying exhale, Alex closed the laptop, the mechanical click of the hinge echoing softly in the quiet room. The digital battlefield was finally silent. Reaching out, Alex picked up the cold, half-empty mug of coffee sitting beside the keyboard, taking a slow sip as the bitter warmth grounded the lingering adrenaline. The physical debit card, still resting on the polished mahogany desk where it had been left days ago, caught the fading golden light of the sunset. The stolen life was reclaimed, the perimeter fortified, and the quiet sanctuary of the home office was entirely restored.